ancient cities and their civilizations. The seeds of our own civilizations, sown in the forests and the deserts and the jungles of our world. Travel with us now as we cross continents to gaze into the lost and ancient places people gathered to live, to build, to pray. These places that are the thumbprints of our ancestors. Let's journey there now, where the travelers of the past meet the travelers of the present. Perperikon, Bulgaria. Famous for its rock-cut structures that date back to around 5000 BCE, this ancient Thracian city was a popular center of pilgrimage and worship. The Temple of Dionysus was legendary for its oracles and their prophecies. Two of the most famous predictions involved Alexander the Great, who was told that he would go on to conquer the world. And years later, in 59 BC, Octavius, the father of the future Emperor Augustus, was told that his son would one day rule the world. Current evidence suggests that this may have been that temple. Over time, a large settlement grew around the shrine, featuring a fortified acropolis, a grand palace, and two neighborhoods built on the slopes of the hill. Perperikon, located near Kardzali, sits 470 meters above the Perperikon River. Archaeological research here has revealed an ancient complex of temples, palaces, churches, wine presses, and the remains of a medieval fort, bringing the rich history of Perperikon to light. The people who lived here were a mix of Thracians, Greeks, and Romans, who made this place a center for religious and cultural activity. Visitors today can explore the Perperikon and walk the ancient pathways of the people who once called this place home. Hierapolis, Turkey. Hierapolis, near modern Pumukale, is famous for its extensive Roman baths and a well-preserved theater, and for being the birthplace of Stoic philosopher Epictetus. While this area was inhabited since prehistoric times, the origins of the city date to 700 BCE when the Phrygians built a temple here. The city developed around the Phrygian temple. Hierapolis was founded in 300 BCE as a Greek settlement. In 133 BCE, Hierapolis and other lands from the Pergamon kingdom were given to Rome by the last Attalid ruler. Rome gained a city of about 100,000 people, located near healing thermal springs, which later became a popular spa resort. Tourists from all around the world come to visit this famous World Heritage Site of Hierapolis, Pamukkale. Thebes, Egypt. Thebes, once a bustling city on the Nile, sat right where modern-day Luxor is now. In the days of the New Kingdom, from 1600 to 1100 BCE, Thebes was the capital of the mighty Egyptian Empire. Thebes is known for its massive temples and tombs, like the famous Karnak Temple. Karnak was dedicated to the god Amun. Karnak is filled with towering pylons, obelisks, and halls covered in intricate hieroglyphs. Also dedicated to Amun, as well as to Mut and Khonsu, is Luxor Temple, known for its massive stone statues, towering columns, and impressive avenue of sphinxes. Life here was deeply connected to religion and politics. So much of what we find here reflects that. I can't help but wonder how ancient travelers might have felt arriving here. To stand in these sacred spaces is to feel the weight of thousands of years of human life. Surrounded by beauty that speaks to both the divine and the everyday struggles of life long ago. Teotihuacan, Mexico. This ancient city is about 50 kilometers northeast of modern Mexico City. People began settling here as early as 400 BCE. And by 400 CE, it had become one of the largest urban centers in the Americas. The origins and the builders of this city remain a mystery. When the Aztecs, or as they called themselves, the Mixteca, found this place in the 1400s, they named it Teotihuacan, which means the place where the gods were created. The Aztecs didn't actually inhabit the city, as it had already been abandoned for centuries by that time. Instead, they revered it as a sacred place and used it for religious purposes. The main north-south road is lined with impressive buildings and complexes, including the iconic pyramids of the Sun and Moon, and the great compound with the Temple of Quetzalcoatl, also known as the Temple of the Plumed Serpent. Wall paintings adorned many buildings in the city. At its peak, The city covered an area of 36 square kilometers or 22 miles. The ceremonial center, although grand, only makes up about 10% of the total space. The city itself is a breathtaking sight, with its grand pyramids rising against the sky, inviting the curious to explore the stories of those who once worshipped here, and of those who once called this place home. The popularity of Teotihuacan calls to travelers past and travelers present. Ellora and Ajanta Caves, India. The Ellora and Ajanta Caves, located in Maharashtra, India, are renowned for their rock-cut temples and monasteries. Ellora, dating from 400 CE to 900 CE, features a blend of Buddhist, Hindu, and Jain temples. The Ajanta Caves, a Buddhist monastery, were carved between 200 BCE and 500 of the Common Era. Both sites served as places of worship, meditation, and monastic life. They are both stellar examples of the power of human will expressed in stone. I was personally deeply impressed by the stone Buddhas carved inside the Ajanta Caves. And I sat in wonder of the indentations worn into the stone floors by centuries of meditating monks. Traveling to India has always offered up the most remarkable gifts. Kahta Castle, Turkey. Kahta Castle sits high on a rocky hill in southeastern Turkey. It was originally built by the Commagene kingdom in the 1st century BCE, a small but powerful kingdom that thrived by blending Persian and Greek cultures. Its location provided for control over important trade routes and the nearby lands. Life here was likely busy, with traders and soldiers moving in and out, while residents handled the demands of daily life within the fortress. The castle's design is a mix of Hellenistic and Roman styles, reflecting the blend of cultures in the area. From its high point, the castle overlooks the Kahta River Valley, making it a strong defensive spot and a symbol of Commagene power. Today, visitors can explore Kahta Castle from the outside only. The ruins seem to whisper stories of the people who once lived here, surrounded by the wild beauty of the Turkish mountains. Abu Simbel, Egypt. The Abu Simbel Temple in Egypt was built by Ramses II between 1264 and 1244 BCE. Ramses II was the most powerful pharaoh in the most powerful period of ancient Egypt. The Greeks called him Ozymandias. At the front of the temple, sitting 20 meters tall, reside 4 great statues of Ramses. Was he the pharaoh from the biblical story of Moses? Many scholars see him as the most likely candidate. Abu Simbel Temple was built to express the might of Ramses II to the Nubians Egypt had recently conquered, and so that people could worship him as a god after his death. The temple's face features hieroglyphic stories of Ramses' military victories and divine status. The smaller temple in this same complex is dedicated to Ramses' wife, Nefertari. Nefertari's temple features 6 statues with the royal couple together in the center. Both temples have inner sanctums that were designed so that twice a year, that is, every solstice, rays of the sun would fill them with light. Vardzia, Georgia. Vardzia is an amazing cave monastery built in the 12th century, carved into a cliff by the Mitkvari River in southern Georgia. Hundreds of rooms, like churches, living spaces, and storage areas, are spread out on different levels of the cliff. Queen Tamar of Georgia built this monastery as a defensive and religious stronghold during a period of regional instability. Queen Tamar of Georgia, who ruled from 1184 to 1213 of the Common Era, is famous for her powerful leadership and for leading Georgia to its greatest height. As the first woman to rule Georgia on her own, her reign saw a golden age of art and culture. Life for the people who lived here was a blend of religious devotion and military defense. Vardzia's tunnels and passages reflect impressive construction skills. Traveling here takes visitors to the heart of the golden age of Georgia. Chichen Itza, Mexico. Chichen Itza, a major Mayan city in the Yucatan Peninsula, thrived from the 7th to the 10th centuries CE. Travelers recognize the Pyramid of Kukulkan, a great structure built in alignment with the equinox. It's a massive step pyramid, also known as El Castillo. The Great Ball Court here is one of the largest of its kind in all of Mesoamerica. From the Temple of the Warriors to the site's astronomical observatory, known as El Caracol, the rich archaeological offerings found here have been so important in our current understanding of life among the Maya. Over the city's history, there have been others who have left their mark here, the Toltecs among them. This pyramid was at the center of Mayan religious life. Chichen Itza has become a record of the fusion of ancient cultures and a testament to the antiquity of civilizations in the Americas. Bagan, Myanmar. Found in central Myanmar, this ancient city of Bagan flourished from 800 to 1200 CE. The Pagan Empire, formed from people of Tibet and Burma, was the first to unify the region that would one day become Myanmar. This was the capital city of the Pagan kingdom. Spread over a vast plain are over 2,000 Buddhist temples and monasteries that continue to be used to this day. If you travel here, you can walk the paths of Buddhist scholars dating back to medieval times. The Irrawaddy River flows nearby. and it was control of this river that gave Bagan the financial clout to build these structures. You can take a trip across plains adorned with Buddhist architecture. Abydos, Egypt. Abydos is one of the most ancient cities in Egypt. It held high status as a religious site, as it was believed that Osiris, the Egyptian god of the afterlife, was buried here. The Temple of Osiris drew many to the city, and even the early kings of Egypt made pilgrimages and sought to be buried close to this site. The pharaoh Seti I and his legendary son, the pharaoh Ramses II, built their own temples here. If you travel to Egypt and want to see the oldest tombs in the country, this is where you'll find them. The archaeological sites in Abydos are popular among travelers, researchers, and scholars. Secrets of old, once buried in sand, continue to be revealed to this day. If history is a good indication, time will reveal even more of what the sands of Egypt have hidden. Kaunos, Turkey. Kaunos is an ancient city in southwestern Turkey, near the Mediterranean coast. The city was once home to the Kaunians, who were thought to be the native people from the southwestern part of what is now Turkey. These ruins date back to the 9th century BCE. Kaunos was once a significant seaport, but over time, silt made the river unnavigable. The city was built on different levels. On one level were built important religious buildings like the Basilius Temple, Apollon Sanctuary, and Demeter's sacred rocks. On another level, called the Upper City, there were places like the Bath, Theatre, and Palaestra, a place where people went to play sports and exercise. The famous rock-cut tombs of the Kaunian elite, a mix of Lycian and Kaunian styles, are nearby. If you travel to Kaunos, knowledgeable guides are available to help you get the most out of your trip. Dunamase, Ireland. Dunamase, a historic site in County Louth, Ireland, features the ruins of a medieval castle perched on a prominent hill. This hill is the rock of Dunamase. Remains of the first settlement date back to the 9th century. When the Normans reached Ireland in the 1100s, they built this castle. It became the most important fort in Laos and was part of various conflicts in Irish history. Being set on Dunamase Rock some 40 meters above the plain, it made an ideal vantage point to watch over the surrounding area. Dunamase is now an Irish national monument, and it's worth a visit or two. Cholula Pyramid, Mexico. Cholula's Great Pyramid is the largest pyramid by volume in the world. Built by Mesoamericans, it's located in modern-day Puebla, Mexico. Long before Columbus arrived, it was a religious gathering place for several civilizations. This Mesoamerican sacred mountain was dedicated to the god Quetzalcoatl. Socially, it was a center for communal gatherings and religious festivals. The pyramid was constructed over centuries by different cultures. The earliest construction phases likely started around 200 BCE by the indigenous groups of the region, possibly the Olmec or Toltec people. The Spanish built a church atop it, blending indigenous and colonial religious practices. Pinara, Turkey. Pinara was built around 500 BCE by the Lycians. The city was carved directly into the slopes of Mount Cragus, using a combination of simple tools and impressive craftsmanship. For me, it always brings to mind some imaginary giant poking pinholes into stone. Rows of stone seating carved into the hillside give this ancient amphitheater a feeling of timelessness, as if it has stood there forever, watching over the city below. The construction of a single room or tomb depended on its size and complexity. A small, simple tomb might have taken weeks or months to complete, while larger, more elaborate tombs with intricate carvings could have taken years. Life here was shaped by the land. Public baths highlight a Roman influence, and a basilica shows the city's later Christian influence. Amid views of the Xanthos Valley, visitors can feel the weight of history and the mystery of an ancient world, making it a must-see for modern explorers. Dendera, Egypt. Dendera, an ancient Egyptian site on the west bank of the Nile, is renowned for the Temple of Hathor. These temples date back to the Ptolemaic period from 305 BCE to 30 BCE. Hathor was the Egyptian goddess of love and marriage. Travel here reveals one of the most well-preserved sites in the country. In Dendera, there is the large central basilica, 2 birthing houses, and several other shrines. The story goes that once a year, Hathor would have a happy reunion with her husband Horus in Edfu. Her return was seen as the beginning of the Nile flood season. Sigiriya, Sri Lanka. Sigiriya is an ancient rock fortress located in central Sri Lanka, famous for its otherworldly location on top of a massive granite plateau. Built in the 5th century by King Kashyapa, this site once housed a royal citadel, surrounded by beautiful frescoes and intricate water gardens. A series of staircases and terraces lead to the top where the king's palace once stood. The people who lived here were part of the ancient Sri Lankan civilization, known for their remarkable engineering and artistic skills. For travelers today, Sigiriya offers an unforgettable view of history. Life here was a blend of luxury and strategy, with the fortress serving as both a royal residence and a defense against enemies. The frescoes at Sigiriya, with their depictions of celestial maidens, are still admired for their beauty and detail, providing a glimpse into the artistic achievements of the time. The place feels timeless, with the plateau rising majestically from the lush green landscape, like a kneeling stone giant watching over the land below. Dunluce Castle, Northern Ireland. Dunluce Castle, located on a dramatic clifftop in County Antrim, Northern Ireland, overlooks the Atlantic Ocean. It was built in the 1200s as both a fort and eventually a family home. It was home to powerful families, including the de Burghs, the McQuillans, and the MacDonalds. An early Irish fort originally occupied the site, setting the stage for later construction of the castle. Each occupying family expanded Dunluce in their time, with monies gathered from the spoils of war, vast personal wealth, and even from Spanish shipwrecks. Recent excavations at Dunluce Castle have revealed new insights into its history, especially the lost town planned by Randall MacDonald in the early 17th century, once considered one of Ireland's most sophisticated settlements. If you have the pleasure of visiting Northern Ireland, Dunluce Castle is an excellent stop in your journey. Ephesus, Turkey. The ruins, rich with archaeological information, are home to one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Temple of Artemis. Construction began on the Temple of Artemis in 550 BCE. Ephesus was a city in ancient Greece located on the coast of what was then Ionia in Anatolia. This place was, for those in the Mediterranean, a major center for commerce, great architectural achievements, and religion. The city has a storied history. One of the most influential philosophers of all time, Heraclitus, was Ephesian. When the Persian king Xerxes first attacked Greece, he left his children here for safekeeping. And when Themistocles launched his successful defense of Greece, he landed here on his way to Persia. Ephesus became an important center for early Christianity, with its church playing a significant role in developing Christian theology. Traveling to this ancient city is by way of the modern village of Selçuk in western Turkey. Kozarnica Cave, Bulgaria. Kozarnica Cave sits in the quiet hills of northwestern Bulgaria. It holds some of Europe's oldest human-made artifacts. Scientists have dated these remains back as far as 1.4 million years. People lived here for hundreds of thousands of years, leaving behind tools made from flint and bones, the tools of hunter-gatherers. The Balkans are known for being home to different early human species over time. The people who lived here were early ancestors of modern Europeans. Evidence from different sites suggests that Neanderthals and early modern humans may have even interacted with each other. This makes the region an important area for further study into human history and evolution. Travelers curious about the ancient history of European people may find this place worth a visit. Machu Picchu, Peru. Machu Picchu is an ancient Incan city hidden high in the Andes Mountains, 50 miles from Cusco, Peru. It was built during the 15th century under the rule of the Emperor Pachacuti. Set in a breathtaking landscape where the Peruvian Andes meet the Amazon basin, the historic sanctuary of Machu Picchu stands out as one of the greatest achievements in art, architecture, and land use of the Inca civilization. The Incas designed terraces that followed the shape of the mountain, preventing erosion and allowing crops to grow in this challenging terrain. The Incas who lived here were brilliant architects, using nearby quarries to craft buildings with perfectly fitted stones and no mortar whatsoever. Life here was a mix of hard work, spiritual devotion, and royal grandeur. The buildings were constructed taking into account splendid views and astrological alignments. Travel here gives the experience of visiting a city built between the earth and the sky. Coba, Mexico. Coba is an ancient Maya city in Mexico's Quintana Roo region near the Yucatan Peninsula. Amid a landscape dominated by jungles and lakes, archaeologists have uncovered its massive network of stone roads. These roads, called Sacbeob, connected Coba to other Mayan cities. Coba is older than the Mayan sites of Chichen Itza and Tulum. And this ancient city hosted religious rituals which were often connected to the sun, the stars, and the moon. Travelers to these ruins will find a steep climb to the top of the pyramid and a connection to an ancient time. Hattusa, Turkey. Hattusa, the capital of the Hittite Empire, features the remnants of grand temples and massive city walls. Among the notable finds here are the Lion Gate and the monumental Temple of the Storm God, which provide insights into Hittite religion and statecraft. The Hittites were an ancient Anatolian people. Some evidence suggests the earliest settlements here were from as far back as 6000 BCE, though little is known about the inhabitants before the arrival of the Hittites. In the 1400s BCE, the Hittites ruled most of what is now modern-day Turkey from this place. Hattusa remained the capital throughout Hittite history, with few interruptions. A trip to Turkey can be deeply enriched by traveling to see Hattusa. Mahabalipuram, India. Mahabalipuram, an ancient port city in Tamil Nadu, India, is famous for its cave sanctuaries, temples, and sculptures from the 7th to 9th centuries CE. The 5 Rathas are impressive rock temples carved from single pieces of stone, each showcasing different architectural styles and dedicated to Hindu gods. The Shore Temple, looking out over the Bay of Bengal, comprises 3 ornate granite shrines. Reliefs illustrate mythological stories and give us a glimpse into Hindu art. The city was a bustling center of trade during the Pallava dynasty, connecting to trade routes across the Indian Ocean. Mahabalipuram was also a center of culture, and its temples and carvings show the skill and devotion of its creators. Travelers here can stroll through the ancient city, breathing in the fresh sea air. Mahabalipuram is a place where each carving tells a story from an ancient past. Deir el-Medina, Egypt. Near the tombs in the Valley of the Kings lies Deir el-Medina. This ancient village is a special find in the annals of Egyptian archaeology. This is where the artisans lived while constructing the tombs in the Valley of the Kings. Findings include the homes of these skilled craftspeople and their tools. Deir el-Medina gives us a glimpse into the lives of the people who built some of the greatest monuments and structures on Earth. The village was a practical community, organized to house the artisans and their families. It had social and cultural significance, as the workers had a unique status, giving their role in building royal tombs. Travelers here find a microcosm of Egyptian society, linking work, religion, and the state. Malinalco, Mexico. Just west of the town of Malinalco, Mexico, on a hill called Cerro de los Ídolos, the Hill of Idols, is the Quantinchan archaeological site. These structures were built by the Aztecs, or as they referred to themselves, the Mixteca. The visible buildings here date back to the 1400s, but the site's use as a ceremonial center seems to be much older. The Kuakali Temple is one of the most impressive monolithic structures in the Americas, carved entirely from a single block of stone into the mountainside. The temple has been compared to famous sites like Ellora in India, Petra near the Dead Sea, and Abu Simbel in Egypt. Known as the House of Eagles, the temple served as a sanctuary for elite Aztec Mixteca warriors, including the Eagle and Jaguar warriors, who participated in initiation rites and religious ceremonies here. Inside are carvings of eagles and jaguars. These animals represent the balance between the sky and the earth, which was very important in Mixteca cosmology. Travelers here see a mix of nature and ancient architecture, and get to experience the hospitality of the lovely Mexican people. Persepolis, Iran. Persepolis was once a grand city capital and palace complex, founded by Darius I in 518 BCE. This place once showcased the artistic and architectural abilities of the Achaemenid Empire, also called the First Persian Empire. The design of Persepolis drew its inspiration from Mesopotamian models. These ruins lie at the base of the Mountain of Mercy in southwestern Iran. After Darius, successive kings built a series of magnificent palaces, including the enormous Apadana Palace and the Grand Throne Hall, also known as the 100-Column Hall. Life in Persepolis was busy with politics and culture. The people took part in grand ceremonies and tributes from nations far and wide. Modern-day travelers can walk and see the once grand structures considered the crown jewel of Achaemenid architecture, urban planning, construction, and art, depicting the old empire's vast reach. Pisac Ruins, Peru. The Pisac Ruins sit high in the sacred valley of Peru, about 100 kilometers or 62 miles from Machu Picchu. Pisac is believed to have been built around the 15th century during the reign of the Inca Emperor Pachacuti, the same ruler who is credited with the construction of Machu Picchu. Machu Picchu was likely a place for the Inca emperor to visit and relax, showing off their amazing buildings and strong connection to nature. Pisac was more focused on farming and religion, and it was in a good spot to control trade and protect the valley. Both places have similar stonework and terraces, showing how skilled the Incas were at building. In the center of the ruins, there's a special stone called the Intihuatana, used to watch the stars and worship their gods. Seeing both Pisac and Machu Picchu helps travelers understand more about the Incan way of life. Machu Picchu for the emperor and political functions, and Pisac for farmers and their ways of worship. These ruins are a testament to a way of life centered around farming and following the stars. Rumkale, Turkey. Rumkale is an ancient fortress on a rocky outcrop overlooking the Euphrates River in southeastern Turkey. Rumkale was built back in the 2nd century CE during the Roman period. The Romans and many other groups recognized Rumkale's strategic location overlooking the Euphrates River. Around the 6th century CE, the Byzantines took control of the fortress. As the Byzantine Empire adopted Christianity, many sites were transformed into religious hubs, and Rumkale soon became a center for early Christianity. Modern travelers can take boat tours to see the fortress from the water, just as so many ancient travelers might have seen it. Visitors can even have a refreshment on the pier, just as ancient visitors might have done. You can also take a trip to wander some of the area by foot, with the distant smell of pistachio fields in the air. Pucara de Quitor, Chile. Pucara de Quitor is an old stone fortress in northern Chile's Atacama Desert, dating back to the 12th century of the Common Era. This site includes extensive ruins of a fortification built by the Atacameño people, featuring a series of defensive walls and terraces. Its strategic location on this rocky hilltop provided the people here with a view of the surrounding valley. This vantage point was essential for controlling trade routes and defending against invaders. Pucara de Quitor is an important point in extensive trade networks linking the Andes highlands to coastal regions. The Atacameño had a rich spiritual life, worshipping various deities related to nature, fertility, and agriculture, with rituals often held at sacred sites. Pucara de Quitor is nearby to San Pedro de Atacama, making it an easy-to-get-to spot for travelers who want to check out this amazing site. Today, the Atacameño are on a mission to revive and promote their cultural heritage, including efforts to bring back their language and celebrate traditional festivals. Sacsayhuaman, Peru. Sacsayhuaman, located outside Cusco, Peru, is an ancient megalithic complex of Incan origin. Sacsayhuaman was an important ceremonial and defensive site for the Incan Empire, with its complex walls and terraces providing strategic and ceremonial functions. The site features enormous stone blocks, some weighing up to 200 tons, fitted together with remarkable precision without requiring mortar. The site's extensive trapezoidal stones and zigzagging walls reflect advanced Incan engineering and construction techniques. The archaeological remains include ceremonial platforms, storage buildings, and sections of a vast complex that played a significant role in Incan rituals and military defense. Sacsayhuaman's construction and layout offer insights into Incan architectural prowess and their urban planning. Blythe and Taglios, California. Giant geoglyphs created by indigenous peoples over 1,000 years ago can be seen in southeastern California if you travel there today. These are the Blythe intaglios. The intaglios are human and animal figures made by removing the top layer of dark desert varnish to reveal the lighter soil underneath. The original use for these desert figures is uncertain. Some believe they had ceremonial functions. The Blythe intaglios are one of North America's largest and most well-preserved examples of desert geoglyphs. Sagalassos, Turkey. In southwest Turkey, on the sunny slopes of the Taurus Mountains, is the archaeological site of the ancient city of Sagalassos. Sagalassos was founded around the 3rd century BC by the Pisidians, but the area has been inhabited since much earlier, with traces of hunter-gatherers dating back about 12,000 years. Its ruins are remarkably well preserved, showcasing stunning architectural feats. Among the most striking features are the Grand Theater, with a semicircular seating area that once held thousands, a monumental fountain, and a grand agora. When the Persians were in control, Pisidia gained a reputation for being a bit rebellious. This became clear in 332 BCE when Alexander the Great faced fierce resistance at Sagalassos during his campaign to conquer Persia. After Alexander's time, Pisidia changed hands several times among his successors. Hellenization, a process of cultural change to Greek customs, happened pretty quickly here. When Sagalassos came under Roman rule around 133 BCE, the city and its surrounding area began to thrive until this place was the major city of Pisidia. The Temple of Hatshepsut, Egypt. The Temple of Hatshepsut on the Nile's west bank near Luxor is located in what was once Thebes, the ancient capital of Egypt during the New Kingdom period. This temple sits right across the Nile from Karnak Temple. Hatshepsut, who ruled around 1473 to 1458 BCE, wasn't just a queen. She became pharaoh, and one of her great achievements was building this temple. It features 3 terraces and a series of ramps. The highest level features an open courtyard with statues of Hatshepsut as Osiris, the Egyptian god of the afterlife, leaning against the pillars. The temple also honors the goddess Hathor, the Egyptian protector of women, and the Egyptian god Amun, of course, held the place of highest honor. Reliefs show Hatshepsut's famous expedition to Punt, as well as the treasures and exotic animals the Egyptians brought back. They also make the case for why she's the rightful ruler of Egypt, including her own claim that the god Amun himself was her true father. Travelers here, anyone who sees this place, gain a better understanding of architectural and religious practices of Egypt's 18th dynasty. Angkor, Cambodia. Angkor, located in northwestern Cambodia, was the heart of the Khmer Empire from 800 to 1400 CE. Travelers recognize this ancient city by its architecture, including the iconic Angkor Wat Temple. Angkor Wat was originally built in honor of Vishnu, the Hindu god protector of the universe. In 1432, Phnom Penh became Cambodia's new capital, and Buddhist monks took over maintaining Angkor Wat. Many temples are found here. The largest of them all, the largest religious complex in the world, is Angkor Wat. Angkor Wat is a stone replica of the universe, with its central tower symbolizing the mythological Mount Meru at the center of the cosmos. The 5 towers represent Meru's peaks. The outer wall symbolizes the world's edge, and the surrounding moat represents the oceans. Tikal, Guatemala. In the middle of the jungle, wrapped in thick green vegetation, you'll find one of the major Mayan sites that was bustling with activity from the 6th century BCE to the 10th century of the Common Era. Research has uncovered a wealth of impressive buildings, carved monuments, and other signs of advanced skills and creativity that span from the arrival of the first inhabitants to the city's final days. Tikal has given us incredible insights into not just the Maya civilization, but also the broader story of cultural development. Tikal's rich architectural and artistic features also include significant symbolic elements. For example, its pyramids were designed to symbolize mountains and organize a universe in which people harmoniously coexist with the natural world. Many of the monuments still have beautifully preserved decorations, like intricate stone carvings and colorful mural paintings with hieroglyphic inscriptions. The Maya people who lived here were skilled architects, astronomers, and fierce political players, with Tikal wielding influence across the region. Tikal National Park is listed as a World Heritage Site for both its biodiversity and its important archaeological treasures. If you travel here, you might find the Guatemalan jungle around you feels like a living, breathing part of the city's ancient past. Troy, Turkey. This site in northwestern Turkey has layers of ruins showing different periods of the city's history. One of the most interesting is Troy 7, which many think is the Troy from the famous Trojan War. The legendary Siege of Troy by Spartan and Achaean warriors between the 13th and 12th century BCE, famously told by Homer in the Iliad, has sparked the imagination of people around the world for centuries. And it's one of the world's most iconic archaeological sites. Huge defensive walls and a grand citadel once protected this city, along with homes and public buildings that bustled with life. The Dardanelles is a narrow strait in northwestern Turkey that connects the Aegean Sea to the Sea of Marmara, separating Europe from Asia. Being located near the Dardanelles made this city the perfect place to control important trade routes between Europe and Asia. The people who lived here were traders and warriors, navigating a life full of challenges and opportunities. Modern visitors can travel to this place that connects myth and history. A place that still feels alive with the legends that shaped it. Ciudad Perdida, Colombia. Hidden in Colombia's Sierra Nevada mountains is the lost city known as Ciudad Perdida. Archaeologists indicate that the Tairona civilization built it around the 9th century. This settlement was established some 650 years before Machu Picchu. Its plazas and terraces of stone were at the core of politics and rituals of the inhabitants. Advanced farming methods were used here. Adventure travelers to Colombia may be lucky enough to take a trip up from the base camp. Its isolation helped preserve the Tairona's cultural and spiritual traditions. Petra, Jordan. This place was the capital of the Nabateans dating back to around 400 BCE. The Nabateans were an ancient Arab people. This ancient city, known as Sela in the Bible, is situated between the Dead Sea and the Gulf of Eilat, which connects to the Red Sea. Petra's buildings are a mix of different styles that show how skilled the Nabateans were at building and planning their city. This place was inhabited even in prehistoric times, but during the Hellenistic and Roman periods, it became a major stop for trade, where goods like incense from Arabia, silk from China, and spices from India were exchanged. Petra displays multiple influences: Nabatean rock-cut tombs and temples, Greek-style columns and pediments, Roman arches and roads, Egyptian motifs. The Nabateans survived here by creating a clever system of channels and cisterns to bring in water. Life in Petra was a mix of smart ideas and strong will, as the people thrived in the tough desert environment. Modern travelers visiting Petra can explore rock-cut tombs which showcase the advanced engineering and artistic talents of the ancient people here. Uxmal, Mexico. Uxmal is a Mayan city located in the Yucatan Peninsula, famous for its beautifully preserved ruins and unique architectural style. It was established circa 700 CE. The people who lived here were skilled Maya builders and artists who made this city a center of culture and politics. The Pyramid of the Magician, also known as the Pyramid of the Soothsayer, is one of the most famous structures at Uxmal. It stands out because of its unique, rounded shape and stepped design, which is different from the more typical pyramid shapes found in other Mayan cities. Local legends say that the pyramid was built by a magical dwarf who used his supernatural powers to finish it in just one night. The governor's palace and the impressive plazas are further examples of brilliant Maya design and craftsmanship. Uxmal is one of the most important Maya archaeological sites, alongside Chichen Itza, Caracol in Belize, and Tikal in Guatemala. Montezuma Castle, USA. Montezuma Castle in Camp Verde, Arizona, was built by the Sinagua people in the 12th century. The Sinagua were indigenous people of the southwestern United States. Early American settlers and explorers misnamed the castle, assuming it was associated with the Aztec Mixteca emperor Montezuma. Over 20 rooms were built right into this limestone cliff, and people got in and out using ladders and ropes. Life here was about sharing space and working together as a community. The structural layout shows how organized and thoughtful the Sinagua were about their lives. Sitting high above the valley, the castle still feels like a peaceful place where history and nature have come together. Visitors can see how well this ancient building has stood the tests of time. Thank you for taking this journey with us.